This is the Tristan Law Show. If it's your first time here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Tristan Law, semi-retired pro wrestler, and today, I'm your host. And something about The Rock's return this time just feels a little different. This isn't Hollywood Rock. This isn't the People's Champ. This is the final boss, the most dangerous version of The Rock we've ever seen. And today, we're breaking it down, why he feels more powerful, more ruthless, and more untouchable than ever before. And I want to hear from you. Does this version of The Rock scare you? Do you think that Cody Rhodes even has a shot at WrestleMania? Drop a comment or hit me up on social media because I want to hear your takes. But before we talk about what happens next, we need to understand what makes the final boss different from any other version of The Rock we've seen today. And just in case you're new here, you don't want to see my ugly, muggly face, we do audio-only podcast episodes 6 days after every episode goes live. So you got that. You can listen to that and find that anywhere you find a podcast. But The Rock, the final boss, he's not just a wrestler. This is what makes him different, or what makes him feel different. He's not just a wrestler. He's now a power player in WWE's corporate world. The guy's lowest point in his life, the guy only had $7 in his pocket. That's why his production company is called $7 Production. The guy was broke. He didn't have nothing. And now he's a big time businessman. What's going on, Dom Delivers? Welcome. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, the final boss. He bought the XFL after his former boss, Vince McMahon, failed at the XFL not just once, but twice. And then that same guy, he joined the board of directors for the same company that was ran by the same exact man that he bought the XFL from, and now Vince McMahon is not even involved with any of those companies anymore. Yo, this version of The Rock is different. The Rock is different. He rarely fights. He rarely gets in the ring. What he does is that he pulls strings and lets other people do his dirty work, and eventually he puts his fingers in the mud to get dirty. But I'll ask you this. Does the final boss, The Rock, the People's Champion, Dwayne Johnson, how about we just call him Big Dwayne? Does Big Dwayne really need to get into the ring to make a biggest impact? Because if you ask me, I think he's knocking out of the park right now. WrestleMania 40 in Philly, last year was the last time we seen that guy in the ring. And what has he been doing since then? Just clapping his food hole. Just clapping his food hole and just talking junk like he normally does. But here's what I want you to understand, right? This Cody feud, it's not about winning. This version of The Rock, the final boss, it's not about winning. The whole entire thing with Cody Rhodes, The Rock, it's all about control. Let me explain to you. Cody Rhodes disrespected The Rock's family last year when he stole the belt from Roman Reigns. Look, I'm just using the word steal, okay, because I'm trying to put you right now in the head of Cody Rhodes, in the head of The Rock, the final boss. This is where you get that expertise from a semi-retired wrestler, myself, Tristan Law. Thank you so much for joining me. Cody Rhodes stole the belt from the Anoa'i family, from the Fatu family. Cody Rhodes stole the belt from the Isle of Samoa and disrespected The Rock's family. He disrespected his heritage. Look, you can disrespect anybody in my family, but when you disrespect my mama, you got beef. And two of the biggest people in The Rock's life were his grandmother and his mother. There were huge names in his family, and if you disrespect the family, you disrespect the mother. Yo, where I grew up, man, you don't disrespect people's mother unless you know how to fight. And let me tell you something, Cody's going to have to learn how to fight. I got a hot take for you right now. The final boss, The Rock, Big Dwayne Johnson, he is the closest thing to Mr. McMahon, Vince McMahon, the character, in 2025. You don't know what I'm talking about? Look, I'm going to have to explain it to you. So, Mr. McMahon, he felt disrespected by Bret Hart and became a ruthless corporate villain. And then on the other side, the final boss, Big Dwayne, felt disrespected by Cody and the fans and then became a ruthless villain. Well, you see the similarity so far? Mr. McMahon didn't get in the ring often, only when it mattered, and he stacked the deck against Steve Austin. The final boss isn't a weekly wrestler. He has businesses to run, and he's also stacking the deck against Cody. The only time Mr. McMahon ever got in the ring was when his lackeys couldn't do it. And I feel it's going to be the same exact thing for the final boss, Big Dwayne, that when his lackeys can't do it, he's going to have to come in and get his hands dirty. Listen to this. I'm going to even put this on its head from what I'm about to tell you in a couple seconds. Vince McMahon used The Rock, his corporate champion, to fight Austin. Now the final boss is using John Cena and others to fight his battles. Both people rarely wrestled, only when the story demands it. You ready for me to turn this on its head? Would it be safe to say that the final boss learned his ways from Mr. McMahon? I don't care what you say. I'm giving myself a hand clap for that because let me explain this to you right now. Thank you. You're too kind. You're too kind. Vince McMahon was the boss of the WWE and the XFL. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a big key figure in both of those companies right now, and Vince McMahon is not. Vince McMahon was the biggest villain in the Attitude Era, and now it looks like The Rock, the final boss, Big Dwayne, is doing the same thing in return. The whole time The Rock left pro wrestling to go to Hollywood, right, because he wanted to try other things, he fell into some money. And then he eventually took everything from Vince McMahon. How is this Rock more dangerous than Hollywood Rock from 2003? God, I'm going to have to tell you. In 2003, the mindset of that Rock, he was arrogant, self-absorbed, and fully in himself, making him Hollywood Rock. But now when you look at the final boss, his mindset is that he sees himself above the WWE roster. He's not just a superstar, he's a corporate power, and he manipulates everything in the WWE for his favor. Hollywood Rock, his motivation, he didn't care about the WWE or winning titles. He was just there to show off, insult people, and remind everybody that he was bigger than pro wrestling. But now this time, it's not about ego, it's not about entertainment, it's about control, dominance, and forcing everybody to fall in line. If the fans had fallen in line and Cody Rhodes had shut his mouth and know his role, the main event for WrestleMania last year would have been different. But no, all the fans want to voice their opinion and put the battery in Cody Rhodes' back, and look what happened now. Where I come from in the Bronx, the number one thing you always tell somebody is don't let somebody put the battery in your back. One of the things that we say in the pro wrestling business is don't work yourself into a shoot. And Cody Rhodes allowed everybody to work him into a shoot, and you know what? I think he's going to be stuck like Chuck. When you look at some of the tactics from Hollywood Rock, what did he do? He ran his mouth more than he fought. He mocked and humiliated opponents, but he wasn't really truly dangerous. He lost to Goldberg at Backlash and then left on his own terms. But this guy, the final boss, Big Dwayne, he rarely fights because he doesn't have to. Instead, he uses his power. I'm Big Dwayne. I sit in a big chair. I sit in a big chair. And he uses his influence to make things happen. He physically punishes his threats like Cody at Elimination Chamber instead of mocking them. Granted, he comes out, he does the mocking, but this guy, he does a lot less talking. And when he talks, it's like, maybe that old man is serious. He now has allies like Cena and Travis Scott doing his dirty work, making him more dangerous. And you know one thing that he could do? The final boss could remove Triple H from power if he wants. Give him even more control over the WWE in real life. When you look at the final boss' biggest strength, the WWE is not his playground. It's his chessboard. Let me know what you think in the chat. Let me know when you're watching the comments. Whether you're watching live or on demand, do you think The Rock learned these cutthroat moves from Vince McMahon himself? Because let's not forget, he took everything from Vince McMahon. The XFL, WWE board status, and now he's one of the players in the game. And that's exactly why this feud with Cody Rhodes is so much more bigger than just wrestling. It's not about a match. It's not about anything else. It's just about control, respect, and legacy. If you like what I'm talking about so far, make sure you hit that subscribe button. It means a lot when you subscribe. We've got a lot of new people jumping onto the Tristan Law Show. We now have 220 subscribers on the Tristan Law Show. So I'd like to thank everybody that decided to take a chance on me. I'm dedicated to providing you with top-notch quality production here on YouTube and giving you just like the craziness from inside of the mind of a semi-retired pro wrestler. So now we got the beating at Elimination Chamber. And if you ask me, that was a warning shot. What happened at the Elimination Chamber? Cody got destroyed by The Rock on the left, John Cena in the middle, and even the rapper Travis Scott on the right. Some of y'all seem to forget what the final boss said to Cody Rhodes after WrestleMania. He said, The Rock has to leave now. And when The Rock comes back, whether you are champion or not, the final boss is coming for you. I get goosebumps every time I think about that. Because it's like, yo, how do you just murk a dude and tell a dude like, yo, I'm coming for your kufi? The final boss worked so hard and got him to lower his guard. And then he slowly worked his way into beating Cody Rhodes like a drum. They even took Cody Rhodes' daddy watch and blackened his eye with that watch. Y'all want to see what his eye looked like? This is what his eye looked like. Blackened Cody Rhodes' eye, beat the guy like he stole something, gave that guy no respect. But I think this is more than a feud as well, too. This is a warning to the entire WWE. What am I talking about? Let me explain that to you. Everybody watched the end of the Elimination Chamber. You thought just the people in attendance watched it at home? You think just the people in attendance watched it live? The people at home watched it live? There's people in the back watching it as well, too. The wrestlers watch pro wrestling, too. The whole entire industry watched the Elimination Chamber. If not live, they watched it again. After it happened, they watched the clips on YouTube. There's a reason why nobody else came to help Cody Rhodes. You know why? You don't cross the boss. Cody came out on Raw and SmackDown after Elimination Chamber, and guess who was with him? The same person that's standing behind me. No, not y'all. I'm talking about nobody. Nobody came, and I think that every single person got the message. But here's the thing about Cody Rhodes' character. Cody Rhodes has never been put in danger like this before. The Rock, the final boss, is forcing Cody Rhodes to play by his rules. Cody was in danger last year of not winning the championship from Roman. The final boss beat Cody last year and disrespects the family. The final boss makes the rules, and the second that Cody Rhodes thinks he understands, he changes them. Cody didn't expect John Cena to turn heel on him because Cody's just too naive. He should have never came out to congratulate John Cena because you're too much of a goody two-shoes, too much of a smiling baby face, too much of I have to do the right thing. And look what happened to you, Cody. Look at your eye. Look at your eye. If you ask me, I think Cody Rhodes did this to himself. But how does all of this change Cody's character and makes him fight up from the beginning, from the bottom again? This whole entire thing adds a little bit of grit to Cody Rhodes. Look. 2023, 2024, Cody Rhodes was a smiling babyface who came back to WWE with something to prove, always polite, always respectful. That was his game back then. And now, this Cody Rhodes that we're going to get at the end of this story, he's going to be harder, pause, angrier, and more aggressive. No more handshakes. It's just about fighting for survival. This is going to be beyond his father's legacy. This is probably going to be about his survival against WWE's most powerful man. I like Cody Rhodes, the character. I don't know the man, so I can't say whether I hate the man or like the man. We're talking about the character here. And I dislike the character. And the reason why I dislike Cody Rhodes is because I feel like he's soft. And that's why The Rock was able to black his eye just like this with Travis Scott and John Cena. But I think that this is going to make Cody Rhodes a little bit more appealing to me. Because the only person to ever put Cody Rhodes in danger since he won the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship was Kevin Owens. The only person that he stood in the ring with that I was like, you know what, it just might happen. Everybody else, it was just a match to have a match. And because of that, I think that Cody Rhodes' championship reign so far has been very lackluster. But when John Cena and the final boss, The Rock, Big Dwayne, I'm sitting in a big chair, are done with Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes is going to be ready for Randy Orton. Because Randy Orton owes Cody Rhodes a kick swift to the head. Because every single person that helped Cody Rhodes last WrestleMania is now like toxic. And I think that Cody Rhodes is toxic. He's a very toxic person. But we've seen Cody Rhodes in tough spots before, but nothing like what happened at the Elimination Chamber. And if you missed it, I'm going to break it down for you just a little bit. We're going to touch it. We're not going to really touch it too much. We're just going to tap it. But if you were Cody Rhodes, how would you respond to this? The Rock, Cena, and even Travis Scott put this man through hell. And the worst part, nobody helped him. Nobody dared to step in. What does that tell you? That tells you that everybody knows better. And that's why the story isn't about Cody anymore. It's about the entire WWE locker room. If The Rock is willing to go this far to prove a point, who is next? Wrestle fans, get ready because on April 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'm putting 20 minutes on the clock for a live debate that you don't want to miss. Is Shawn Michaels the greatest of all time, or is he a fraud? Some say that he's the greatest to ever do it, while some believe his legacy is all smoke and mirrors. I say that HBK is one of the greatest of all time, but my guest, my friend, Dave from Dave Knows Wrestling here on YouTube, is going to prove that Shawn Michaels is overrated. But between me and him in the ring, we're going to have 20 minutes, 2 debaters, 1 topic, 0 overtime, and you get to decide the winner right here live on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe. Set your reminder now for April 10th at 7 p.m. because it's going to be a doozy. When you're looking at The Rock's WWE takeover, the real question you should ask yourself is who's next? What's next? Because The Rock isn't just messing with Cody. He's reshaping the WWE itself. Look, listen. Cody Rhodes comes out to press conferences and lets everybody know that he's the boss. Vince McMahon didn't do that. The Rock comes out here in his muscle shirts sitting in front of the media. Mr. McMahon didn't even wear muscle shirts in front of the media. Who respects... When you're looking at suits, like who respects the suit? The final boss is so muscular that he makes my friend Karen's heartbeat skip a few beats. Muscles can be intimidating, but business suits, not so much. I'm talking about the takeover and what's next. Triple H. What does Triple H have to do with this? Triple H doesn't wrestle anymore. Triple H doesn't actually have to get into the ring to wrestle in order for The Rock to get at him. Because look. What if The Rock tries to remove Triple H from power? The Rock first slowly undermines Triple H before a full takeover attempt. The Rock starts overriding Triple H's decisions, like blocking Cody from title shots, inserting his allies into key matches. If the Triple H does something, or they book the whole entire show, The Rock could come out on the show and be like, you know what, we're not doing that today. Or send his delegate to say that we're not doing it today. The Rock tries to plant doubt in Endeavor's mind about Triple H's leadership, and slowly Triple H realized that he's being phased out. By the time The Rock moves in for full control, Triple H has no choice but to fight back. And you know who's going to help him? I don't know, maybe Cody Rhodes. But think about it. If Triple H gets removed from power by the final boss and he's gone, let's say that Brian Gewirtz is a writer for the WWE, or was a writer for the WWE, and he works for The Rock's 10 Bucks Productions, and him and The Rock are good friends and stuff like that. But imagine if storyline, what happened was that The Rock came and said, you know what, Triple H, you're gone. It's not Brian Gewirtz. Or imagine if he removed Road Dogg, who just became the lead writer for SmackDown. People would be so pissed. Let me tell you why people would be so pissed, especially for Triple H. Fans love Triple H, and trying to force him out would make The Rock even more hated in the WWE. Because look at what Triple H has done with the WWE. Because of Triple H and what he's done in the WWE, pro wrestling is so popular, and that is why you are here today, and that's why I even care enough to talk about wrestling. Because about 2 years ago, there wasn't really much to talk about wrestling. Yeah, wrestling happened again. All right, we're just going to move on. Triple H, fans worship the ground that he walks on. I think Triple H was an outstanding wrestler. And when I wrestled in the ring, I modeled myself after 3 people. Triple H, Randy Orton, and Edge. Those are the 3 people. Triple H is the most popular person behind the scenes today. If the final boss messes with him, everybody's going to be upset. First Cody, and then the wrestling god, Triple H. Hey, we got Dan Rivera in the chat. What's going on? Let me give you a hand clap, buddy. He says The Rock is a more calculated version of Vince. I agree. 100% more calculated version of Vince. I think that Vince was a little bit more emotional, and Vince was kind of the guy that probably used to get beat up as a kid and bullied, and he used his power to assert himself. But then you got the final boss who knows he's the man. He's got just as much money as Vince McMahon had back in the day, if not just a little bit more. And The Rock could go out there and he could move the furniture himself. But you know what? He pays people to move the furniture for him. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. Look at this. Look at The Rock and his crew. I got a question for you. If John Cena is a temporary ally because he is going to retire, who's the next on the ally list for Cody, for the final boss? You might not be ready for this one because I try. Look, sometimes I try. Sometimes I see people be out there thumbs down in my video because you know what? Sometimes my takes are out of control. My one out of take control was like, oh, what if John Cena turns heel? And everybody on the internet pooped on it. Nope, John Cena can't turn heel. He's this, he's that. And then what happened? He turned heel later on that night. And everybody had to bow down to the king. And that was me. I was the king. So here's my crazy take. What if the final boss, The Rock, brings in Jacob Fatu? Look, okay, fine. I know it's crazy. I couldn't even get a hand clap from that. I know it's crazy, but John Cena isn't going to be there forever. And The Rock is going to need somebody because John Cena is eventually going to retire. When? John Cena said he's going to retire at the end of the year, but does he really have to retire at the end of the year? What if he's still the champion? What is he going to do? Take the belt with him? That's not going to work. Jacob Fatu is going to need something to do after Solo Sikoa, and Jacob Fatu can wrestle every single week. Maybe the bloodline is taken from Jacob Fatu and reshaped and given to, it's going to be taken from Solo Sikoa, reshaped and given to Jacob Fatu. I mean, you think The Rock is dangerous? Jacob Fatu is dangerous on a week-to-week basis. Who else could fall underneath The Rock's influence? Let me know in the comments. Because we've seen this before. When someone gets too powerful in the WWE, someone has to step up. But here's the real question. Cody's by himself. So who's left to stop him? Let me know in the comments. What happens if The Rock's next target isn't Cody? What if it's Triple H, like I said? What if it is Triple H? Think about it. The Rock wants full control of the WWE. Because right now, we know that Triple H is writing the storylines. He's the one manipulating everybody in the back. And right now, Triple H is the one that is giving The Rock such a hard time. What if The Rock just says, just don't get rid of you? Right? I got to explain this because y'all think I'm crazy. I got to explain this. The way I look at it like this, right? We all know that pro wrestling is predetermined. We all know that pro wrestling is written and Triple H is the writer. Sometimes, what if they break the fourth wall? I know it sounds crazy. And I'm thinking about it now. If I heard somebody tell it to me, I'm like, yo, bro, go find something else to do. But be quiet, I'm talking. Listen. What if The Rock breaks the fourth wall and removes Triple H because he's not putting his people in the positions to win? Would you be down for that story? Or would you absolutely hate it? Let me know in the comments. I know it's crazy. And if The Rock keeps stacking his power, he's going to need soldiers. If Cena's temporary, then who else might step in? Because I told you. I'm going to have an idea. Let's see what we got in the chat. Dan Rivera, I see Jacob going to that group once Cena exits the stage in December. Thank you for your comment. If John Cena leaves in December, because I got a whole entire storyline of how it's going to work out between The Rock and the final boss. Between the final boss, The Rock, and Cody Rhodes. John Cena's in that plan for longer than December. But before we even get to that, I got to let you know that, did you know that WWE has its own independent pro wrestling company? And nobody's talking about it. I'm an indie wrestler guy, and I love independent pro wrestling. That's where I started. I'm talking about Evolve. It's more than just a WWE developmental. It's a brand with an indie feel. How does it fit into WWE's future? We're going to break it down all live together this Tuesday at noon on YouTube, and don't miss it. Make sure you subscribe as well, too. Your subscription is really important. Make sure you subscribe. It makes me know that I'm doing a great job, and you get to see that little number thingy move in the corner. Only when we're live. When we're not live, it doesn't move. Thank you so much to all 220 of my subscribers. So what's next for the final boss? Does The Rock strike again before WrestleMania? Or does he step back and let Cody suffer at the hands of John Cena? If Cody can't stop The Rock, then who can? Cody's going to need help. Who is going to help him? Because if Cody Rhodes is not prayed up, he better get close to God before a final boss, The Rock, brings him to the God. You ready for my other crazy idea on who it can be? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin could come back and help Cody Rhodes in a way. Maybe be like a mentor or something like that, occasional ass kicker. I don't know. Let's listen. Because right now, what I think that we're going to see in the storyline is a modern version of the McMahon-Austin corporate war, but with Rock and Cody involved. When you look at Steve Austin knows The Rock, and he dealt with the corporate war at the hands of Mr. McMahon. Stone Cold Steve Austin could be an ally. The Rock, when you're looking at his end game, what's his ultimate goal? I'll tell you what his ultimate goal is. The goal is making Cody Rhodes respect his family and make him feel sorry he ever shamed The Rock's people in the Isle of Samoa. This is for everybody with the last name Anoa'i, everybody with the last name Fatu, and anybody from the Isle of Samoa that has a last name that I may not have mentioned. This is going to be for them. This ends when Rock and Cody go toe-to-toe in the ring, and I'm calling it at WrestleMania 43. Because if I was booking this, this is how it would stretch out. WrestleMania 41, Cody Rhodes versus Rock. Rock interferes. Cena's champion. WrestleMania 42, you're going to have Cena versus Rock 2. But this time, The Rock's influence is stronger, but Cody's able to right the wrong. Then Cena finally retires. WrestleMania 43, maybe The Rock puts himself in the Elimination Chamber. Maybe when the Elimination Chamber is happening, he comes out, attacks the person getting ready to go in, and puts himself in the Elimination Chamber and locks himself in the pod and wins the Elimination Chamber. Nobody will see that coming. They booked the Elimination Chamber with the 6 men. When the music hits, right, you got your first person, your second person, your third, and your fourth person. They go directly into the pods and get locked in. And the last 2 start the match. You let the first person go and lock the pod. You let the second person go in and lock the pod. You let the third person go in and lock the pod. And when the fourth person comes out getting ready to lock the pod, The Rock comes out, attacks him, bamboozles, flim-flams him, goes in the pod and locks the door. And you can't tell him no because he's the boss. And then it's going to be him and Cody Rhodes, finally, at WrestleMania 43. I was telling people my crazy thoughts at work and my job. This is not my regular job, but one day will be. I feel like I'm building a media company here, so thank you so much for joining me and being here at day one. But they told me maybe you should go work for the WWE and write. I don't meet the qualifications that they're looking for, and I think it might be less fun. But if they wanted to use me for to say, hey, we like your crazy ideas, maybe you can give us some crazy ideas. Sure, no problem, no problem. I'd use the money to turn this studio into I might put a screen behind here and you could watch things move anyway. But I know John Cena said he's going to retire at the end of the year. But does he have to? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. The only reason John Cena is going to retire at the end of the year is because he said so. But John Cena used to run around saying loyalty, hustle, and respect. And that's out the window. No loyalty from John Cena. Definitely no hustle from John Cena. No respect. Loyalty? Last year at WrestleMania, John Cena was loyal to Cody Rhodes. This year out the window. Hustle? The way that John Cena won the Elimination Chamber to even be put in the main event at WrestleMania, there was no hustle in that. In order for John Cena to beat CM Punk in the Elimination Chamber, Seth Rollins had to curb stomp him. And then John Cena slapped on his little submission movie. And then CM Punk didn't even tap out. There's no hustle in that. And the respect, John Cena doesn't respect his friends or his old friends. He only respects one thing, the championship. He needs that 17 WWE championship. That's what he wants. That's all he cares about. John Cena right now is rewriting the playbook for the WWE, and he doesn't have to keep his word. If John Cena wants to wait until he loses, John Cena might stick around at the end of the year and be like, you know what? Nobody's beaten me for the championship. And it's the end of the year. It's the last Raw in the month of December 2025. John Cena's going to say, nobody's beaten me. Why would I dare retire when I'm on top? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go home, and then when somebody's able to beat me, you call me and I'll come back. And John Cena will come back, and then John Cena will beat that person and go home and do the same exact thing until he eventually meets Cody Rhodes. So let's talk about the future. WrestleMania is coming up, and the way things are looking, The Rock isn't going to stop at Cody. So here's my question to you. If The Rock can't stop Cody, then who can? Who would you like to see step up? Because if this story keeps stretching out, we could definitely see a modern-day Austin versus McMahon, but with Cody and The Rock plugged in. Could Stone Cold Steve Austin even get involved? Imagine the arena. They need to find an arena with no roof, because the second you hear that glass break, you know that Stone Cold Steve Austin's coming out. Everybody better use up their sick time, because you're going to need to be someplace else. But let's be real. When this all ends, and The Rock and Cody finally step into the ring, the question you're going to ask yourself is, was it really worth it the whole time? Yeah, I think so. Sometimes you just got to be patient to let the whole story play out. Because this is all going to end when The Rock, the final boss, Big Dwayne, and I sit in the big chair, and Cody Rhodes eventually step in the ring. And here's the question. When? When? So, all right, I've laid it out. The final boss, The Rock, is the most dangerous version that we've ever seen, but now it's your turn. Do you think that Cody stands a chance? Or are we entering an era where The Rock controls everything? Let me know in the comments because I want to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure that you subscribe to the Tristan Law Show here on YouTube. When I come back and I see you on Tuesday, live at noon, we're going to be talking about the truth about WWE's independent pro wrestling takeover, and that's going to be live at noon right here on YouTube. This is the Tristan Law Show. Thank you so much for joining me. I look forward to talking to you on Tuesday. Make sure you watch the shorts and follow me on social media. This is the Tristan Law Show. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.
Flashing red lights, driving it